sunshine. It's even harder to smile when all you want to do is frown.
Hi, welcome to the Ketriana Yvonne show, and today's guest is the extraordinary Voodo Faye.
Yay!
And if you don't know who he is, you will know by the time the show is over. I had the tremendous opportunity of gracing his work on the walls at Brooklyn Plaza Medical Center that's on display.
Thank you.
It's a healing journey.
Yeah.
So tell us about those pieces that are there
All right.
and just how that all came about.
Originally, it started from an idea of these characters that we call nuts and bots, microorganisms that can teleport off of artwork into your body to help you feel better. And we were like, hey, let's just turn that into a real thing. Let's just make it feel like that's something that can actually happen. So we wanted to dive deeper into it. It's not just like a gimmick. And this part of it all connects, but this part of it came out of a doctor's visit. Mm-hmm. And they had some dark paintings and pictures on the wall. And I'm just there in the waiting room with other people that are sick thinking that's probably not the best thing that you should have in a waiting room for people that are sick, dark, mentality pictures. The woman gets up and turns the TV on, and they're showing kids getting shot on CNN. I'm like, this is probably not the best thing. So I wanted to do some research on what does certain images and certain colors, looking at color theory and image theory, what do they do to your affect your body? So when we found out that there's actual data that can actually show that you can do better, you get better test scores, your health improves. There's so many things it does to your brain and the effects. We're like, hey, how do we tie the science of art within what we're doing without losing our cool? Because once you get too sciencey, it gets into that lane, and then you lose the reason people came to see the cool art. So our thing was just don't tell nobody about it. just you know what, we're gonna put it in the fiber within. We're not going to tell you why you feel better during this transition of dark paintings to red paintings to this bright colored one, but you're just going to feel better. Then what we did at the door at our original release, we had stress tests before the exhibit where you would have to go through the whole exhibit, and there's also music aspect of it. So you're actually looking at this artwork, putting on this music that goes along with everything, and it's walking you through. But at the end of it, we can actually show your stress levels down. So it was just like there's a test that can actually line that up. So our thought process was like, well, what else can we do with that? We could gather all this information, utilize it, quantify it, and get art back into schools with facts, not just maybes of whatever it is. Like, no, this is the economic effect that art can have. Here's the health effects that art can have. Here's what it does for community. What part of that's not going to work for you? And I'm bringing data. So it was something that we clicked on. So that tied in with that particular art series. It's just tying a story into this imaginary world that I already live in. Because like if people knew what was going on in my head.
Give us 2 minutes of what's going on.
Oh my God! Let me tell you. Look, I mean, it started. I've always been a little off to the side, but I guess that's the best way to put it. But something happened during. You remember the eclipse, right? Now, I am a complete airhead, and I say that with pride. I don't get caught up in every little nuance of world's troubles and all that. Just not my thing. So, as I was getting a lot of phone calls and texts from my friends. They're like, "Look, do not go outside and play in the sun." I was like, I don't like nobody telling me what to do, but I knew not to do that. I wasn't gonna be crazy and because I knew if you lose your sight, it's a wrap. So I was like, this is, I'm like, all right, I'm paying attention. So me and Sonya had to go to the store. I put my head down low. I had my sunglasses. I was prepared. I was ready. I'm walking. Okay, we get there. Get to the store. Good. Fine. On the way back out, I just wanted to know where it was at so I could know not to put there. And then something happened where I'm looking right at the sun, right? I'm agnostic. The only description I could give was that I was looking at the eye of God. I've never felt that before. Something happened that day, right? So I get home, and the left side of my brain feels like it's on fire. And it feels like a chemical burn is happening. It's going down my neck. And I'm telling science something's wrong. I did something wrong. She's like, did you look? I was like, mm-hmm. So she turns all the lights off and does all this stuff to where like this minute, because things was starting to get really erratic. It subsides, it calms down. So eventually I get back to my mode of doing meditation. And I found now when I meditate, I see colors I've never seen before. I can't even explain what that color looks like. I just know I don't know what the hell it is. Sometimes when I blink, things turn into cartoons, like animation. I've seen myself grow wings to where like I don't have legs. Like this is happening. It's not. You can't tell me, no, this is in your head. Nope. I know what's. Sometimes shadows jump off my body and move forward. Like what do like it's hard to explain that to someone.
You're doing a good job.
I've turned a corner from. We used to live on Broadway, Bedford, and I remember turning onto Myrtle, and all the trees cheered. I was like, okay, I'm either going crazy, or for what I feel it is, like I'm connected to something different.
Right.
Because the artwork is there. All I got to do is get to that point, and I bring it back. So it's like, all right, this is my connection to that.
Right.
That other, like I got goosebumps coming up to that other thing. It's just like I don't know the explanation of it, but it's electrical charges occur now to where about a month, I could go through one pair of headphones a month. The right side always blows out. I've blown out 2 microphones at Earl's studio. I've blown out the computer system at Jeff Jones. I got my knee replaced. The computer system went down on that. And the day I got my x-ray, the computers, my phone and my computer on the same day, the same moment, both died and lost all information at the same time. It's like things like that happen.
Wow.
Right? So it's like, okay. And like I could hear my father passed away years ago, and I hear him now. Like I could, I could. It's just things are just different. It's like it's hard to explain it out.
You're doing a good job. I'm not. No, it sounds. I'm following you.
Okay,
It's
the trippy world of. It's like being on acid without acid.
Okay, yeah. So probably I would just say what happened was you aligned spiritually or on a vibration that's higher.
Yeah.
So now you're connected to. You opened up another channel that we're not there yet. So that's interesting. That's a lot. I mean, trees are cheering you on.
Or I'll forget days. Like I've found myself in the middle of the street. Mm-hmm. Like I knew I was walking on a sidewalk, but I'm standing in the middle of the street. Cars are honking. I probably shouldn't be here. And I've been hit by 3 cars. Oh, it's not like this is like, no. Mm-hmm. Things are happening where it's like, all right. And you just know you're supposed to go do whatever the thing tells you to go do.
Right, exactly.
For someone, like nobody gets to tell me what to do.
Right.
But I obey this thing.
Right.
And the more I obey it, the more they show me.
Right.
So I'm like, well, do you stay in this world here, or that thing that's like, that thing over there is more interesting to me than
well, I mean,
thing.
I would think that there are a lot of people that are here, and they're here to help others, and they come with a vast, information that people probably don't understand, but it is real. So I'll just, as long as you're following, the information, then you'll be able to give it to the world. So you're aligned in that path. So it's, I'm following you.
The alignment, I think that's the great. It is the alignment. It's the realignment because it's not like all of a sudden I started seeing and hearing things. I've always had issues with stuff.
Right.
I remember telling my parents one time I was a kid, I seen a dog in the street and there was no car around. The dog disappeared.
Right.
And I went home to my mother and like, Mom, this is what's happening. She didn't panic or nothing, but she would just say certain things. So you kind of think, is that something I've been dealing with? Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see the dog again? Like in real, well, okay.
I know the challenge of the thing, because sometimes, like, even speaking to people, I can see butterflies growing out of the wall, out of the floor. I know that's not real, but I'm gonna keep going with that because that's more entertaining to me. It's, like, if the person's saying something, and it's not like me judging, because it happens when I'm in conversation with someone like as close as me. But if we're talking and say one of these cameras starts to walk, I'm gonna pay attention to
Right.
it. I know there's nothing to explain. The camera's walking. There's no other, I guess it's just for my entertainment at some point, but it's just like to see that happen and to be in the middle of things is just like, I mean, hence the reason I don't have a car. I don't have listen, I had to promise a lot of people I wouldn't get a motorcycle. Like, but my thing was just, it was like, I don't think I should be in a car.
Right.
I'll probably hit someone. And the other thing is, like, I actually want to drive a car into a wall, which is a whole different thing. So
Create that game.
how do you create that game?
Yeah, do it that way.
How do you do that? Like, I don't know. It's just,
figure it
I guess,
out.
I mean, part of it was just, I like the line. I like knowing where the line is and just putting my foot over it sometimes. It's very like, it's like, yeah, all right. But like, I don't know, it makes life a little, not even a little, it's I jump without any fear.
Right.
I assume I'm going to land on my feet or my wings will open up. One of the two always happen.
Okay. Well, that's a good way to live. I mean, that gets you.
Or you'll get up, or the legs will break and be like, oh, I got it. Okay.
Yeah, but the fear won't keep you from finding out.
The
So
fear,
there's nothing holding you back,
Nah, like
so you can reach new bounds, because you're fearless. So that's
yeah, the fear doesn't. The fear it got squirrels out of me when my mother died. Right, like that was I didn't want that to happen.
Right.
Like that was the most fearful thing. And then I was like, well, if something like that equates or something like that happens again, close to that, that's when I get to put that kind of energy on it.
Right.
You can't tell me the bill is late and you're going to get me to panic about it. You can't tell me XYZ and think I'm going to panic about it. My doctor's saying you'll be in a wheelchair by 30. I'm not going to panic about it. I'll prove you wrong. That's your opinion.
right.
But it's a matter of just like, you can't panic about it. You make bad decisions when you can't slow it down, because at some point you have to make that decision, a leadership decision. That's
Right.
like not just about you. It's just like, all right, the squad needs the best thing to do. What are you gonna do? You gonna panic? Panic. If you want to be a panic leader, I'm out of it.
Right.
I don't play with that. Leadership is important to me, and we see what's happening now when you don't
Yeah.
have. You know what I mean, like just a simple of. Most people count on one hand how many great leaders they've followed. Most cats will be like, I want to be the leader. It's not about you. It's a thing of, are you willing to take the blame when everything goes wrong? Can you take the blame? If you can't take the blame, if you can't pass that one test, everything else is nothing to me. Nothing. If you're not the one to stand up to it and say, look, I got this, I can fix it, then you're easy. I got people that can take care of you. You're easy. You're not one of us. Like I run with some cats that you don't want to play games. Let's get it right.
Okay, so you had this journey and this connective experience with, the vibration, because everything is energy. So we'll just say that you connected to that within things that most people are, choosing to live. Well, I don't know if you want to, well, maybe a safer life with fear, because as long as you have fear, then, it's going to be pretty safe, and you're not going to go out of bounds and explore and open up other channels of your mind. So we'll just say that you reached that and you're living in that. And it's, somewhat I would think of a lonely world, because it's just like gifted people that have, talents, and they think there's something wrong with them because they're seeing things, so they're telling people. It's like the movie The Sixth Sense, the little boy,
Right.
It's like I see things.
Right.
Like, was that real? Yes, it was real for him, But those that don't have that gift, they don't experience that.
I got lucky, right? I'm around people that understand what's going on,
Right.
right? They don't. It's not a judgment.
There's no
thing.
judgment.
It's like, all right, because they've experienced certain things. So if you get a room of uber creative people in one room, magic happens.
Right.
If the outside world don't get it, it's not for you. It's
They will.
It's in your
It
lane.
might be down the road.
And if you don't get it, this wasn't for you. It's not. It's not for your approval.
Right.
It's not for your. I don't need your approval. I don't need your okay. I don't need your opinion. I didn't ask. If I asked, tell me about it. If you're the authority on it, tell me about it. But if I didn't ask for your opinion,
Right.
shut up.
Right.
And I have no qualms with that. I know who I'm around. I know what we do. I know my agenda.
Right.
And you will not knock me off of it. But it's a thing of deciding the type of people you want to be around. And if I've decided to be around winners, around great people that will make sure that I'm challenged, because I've been on the other side of people who wouldn't challenge me.
Right.
And what that won me was homelessness. It won me a lot of drugs. It won me a lot of problems. It won me a lot of things that I should not be right here.
Right.
I should either be in. I can't drive. Can't drive a lick. I know the long one makes it go. I know the side one makes it stop. The thing in the middle goes left and right. But I put enough liquor in me. I know how to talk somebody into letting me drive their car over the Williamsburg Bridge. So where the cars behind me were pulling back because this was happening. So I should have been put in jail for that, especially when there's people in the car. And that's just a thing. That's not even the dumb things. That's just me not thinking through. But there's a lot of. I was stupid. I've done some. I've hurt a lot of people. I've hurt myself, but I've hurt a lot of people. But it's a matter of understanding of what happens when you're around greatness.
Right.
You are what you are around. And the people that are around me now, God bless them. The patience that they put up. It's like, but they're amazing people. They are doing some serious, serious things. So it's just like, all right, if we all keep up, it's not me keeping up with you or vice versa, but if we
Right.
all keep up with the thing,
Right.
who's going to stop it?
A collaboration of,
The whole thing's a collaboration, and it's a long-term plan. Like under my bed, there is a 100-year plan written out.
Wow.
There are big things on our agenda. It's not about, because in terms of safety, going back to that point, in terms of how your parents or your friends will suggest things to you. They want you to be safe. They don't want you to take that big chance
Right.
because you might get hurt more. But your vision of yourself is always bigger than the next person's. You're going to always have the biggest picture. Like if you put yourself in your own movie, it doesn't make no sense to be Robin. It's your movie. Why are you Robin in your own movie? But in your own movie, when you take that thing of like, I want to be great. I want to be Batman. I want to be that dude or that person, that woman, and safety is not allowed. Like if you're not willing to jump, you don't know if you could fly. You can walk that whole long path. That might be good. It might be safe. Might work out. I won't be joining you on that.
okay.
You know?
So from your experience, from, like you said, from following other people and being in a different place where it wasn't a positive state, and then you had this enlightening or recognizing maybe the power within yourself that now you stick to. How have you channeled all of this into, just name some of the things that you channeled into, your art and how it.
The art, I started painting when my mother died. Like I always knew how to draw. I always knew how to paint. But in terms of putting paintbrush into, my friend Christy Randall got me into that. She just like, I didn't know painters.
Right.
You see graffiti and all that, but she's like someone that was putting. I was like, oh, that's different. She's like, try it. It's like, and I tried it, and it was on the first piece was done on. There was some doors that we found that was just in the street, and it was just like something just kept on pulling to me, and it felt like that was my door. I was supposed to walk through something, and I was like, all right, what am I doing? So I took the stuff home, And then I ended up drawing my first thing. It was my mother. This is after my mother passed. It was my mother with her wings out, holding my father, like taking care of him. So I was like, all right. So it wasn't like there was this drastic change. It was just like this art thing opened up, and then it was just turning work out. It just became something like, okay, this is something I could do for a bit that can help me out here. The music was already in me. My brother Gene, brilliant, four degrees, taught himself how to play 9 instruments. Old school, just like I'm gonna do this, and you C drive like that, you're like, I could do that. My brother Pat taught himself how to play drums on a stack of magazines and a pillow, getting perfect timing. Not like speed up, like no, you're just like, okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do? What am I doing? They was like, "You want to get in? Okay, I'll try." I was like that dude, but it was just like that wild dude was okay. It was, and plus I'm protected by my brothers ain't gonna let nothing happen. And Taryn, it was just like this whole clique of us from that group. We developed into this bigger thing called Dark Theory. It was kind of like the Wu-Tang mentality, but it was just like our alternative one, and it was just like a lot of my growth came out of that living situation, because a lot of things happened that were just crazy. And but what you do, you find out how people react to crazy. And if you've never been through anything, I don't want you around me. Nothing personal. But if you think you're gonna cut your teeth with us, it's not gonna work out. We need to know that you've been through something. You show us how you got up. If you can't get up, this ain't gonna work out. Cats will put pressure on you. If you can't, I'd rather that, actually.
So Dark Theory.
Dark Theory, yeah.
Tell us. So
it was Sounds of Silence first. I was in a band with my 2 brothers and Taryn. I mean, it was before that. It was the first setup of it was my 2 brothers, Peanut. Who actually, he's the one that gave me my name, Voodoo. Crazy, Peanut Voodoo. Anyway, so we started there. Peanut went to start work on his own music. Taryn came in. We started doing a lot of stuff with that. And we had this one song called When I'm Drunk that just, like, hey, we ended up opening up for...
with a lot of people, I'm sure.
It worked. I mean, we opened up for Run DMC, Naughty by Nature, Michelle and Dago Cello. We got flown out to Cali to open for the Roots at the Fillmore West, Amsterdam. It was, Taryn's career continued touring all over Europe. Quinn is all over. I mean, it was like, hey, this is a lane for us. It was just it was an unusual lane, because when you're different from cats.
Well, it might. I would think it might be that you're not. Maybe in your mind it's because you're so different from people, but to have people relate to you. It may be just because, wow, finally, they get me and I get them. So maybe, you know what I'm saying? Because if you have to think about the music scene,
Right.
And if it's typical, and you're not,
Right.
what do you relate to? So if somebody comes out, and you get it, and you follow it or whatever, you lit up, you whatever. You connected. It's like you found your groove.
Connecting it to connecting with an alternative market.
Yeah,
I mean
that's why
we definitely did that
usually
with art.
so strong, because it's like I'm not with this other stuff.
Yeah.
We know this has been around, but I'm into something else. But it doesn't exist yet. And then you come along, and it's like, wow, like. I'm okay because
he's
okay. What I'm talking,
because if he's gonna do that, we
right. So this fits.
Okay.
So this works for us. So that's like a coalition. Like we got this going on, and
our market base actually suggests that, though. Actually, just an agreement of that. Like our market is the creative class.
Yeah.
We've done the research on it.
And not
I know them.
The typical that we know already, because this. I know a lot of artists. I know a lot of artwork, but even in like yours it's different.
Yeah.
No, well, no. I used to hear that when I used to hear people say
You get mad, throw a chair.
I used to think that's not really good. But now I think maybe that was like 25 years ago. I would have viewed different if somebody said it to me as negative. But it's okay.
It's
now
our
I think
it's our
cool.
tagline. Our tagline is different, defined,
Okay.
free.
Yeah.
Be different enough to stand out. Be
Yeah,
defined
it's
enough
definitely
to shake
different
things up.
enough, and it's standing out.
Yeah, and be free not to care. I mean, straight up, like imagine those 3 lines. Imagine really in earnest living that way.
Right.
Like, be different enough to stand out. I have no issue standing out.
Right.
Be defiant enough to disrupt everything.
Yeah.
And be free enough not to care. 'Cause how it's like this. It's a great lane, but it also sets up in terms of your inner being. Because
Right.
there's these
Your
other
lifestyle, your living.
It's not like I need to be reminded be different. No, I am. It's like my breathing pattern. It's like I'm different to you. I'm the same to me.
Right.
Like it doesn't matter how that works out in terms of. It allows you to challenge yourself of like, I'm not going to think like the rest of the world. I need to know what I think like. And then I need to control my thought process because my doesn't get to run the show.
Right.
And when you start to put things in order, like these 4 mantras that I live by, talk less, feel more, never defend, and only praise.
Right.
Like if you could just soak that in and do that for a half an hour, your life will change probably the next 2 hours. Because whatever you give, it got to come back. If you give heat to the wall, that heat got to come back.
Right.
If you give love to a wall, that wall's going to come back. But if you give that thing where it's just like, yo, allow that next human be you. You're not broken. There's no human on this planet that's broken that I need to come and fix. That's not my job. That's not my agenda. They don't tell me about, you need to. That conversation is going to end wrong for you. I guarantee you're not going to like what comes out my mouth when people try to tell me what to do. And it's not a matter of me being so stubborn. It's just, don't judge me. You don't get to judge me. You don't get to define me. You don't get, none of your words matter. Nothing personal, but that's my job. Because what that does is you get to go to each person and say, give me my power back. You're holding too much of my power. I should be in control of how, if someone doesn't say, a good job, that's my job. Say that person you're waiting to tell you something good had a bad day, and now you're mad at that person because you've given them all your power away. Opposed to, no, you know what, I could tell myself I did a good job. I don't need anyone else to tell me that. You know what, if I think about how many people will not tell themselves that. Think about the last time you've told yourself, great job.
Great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It changes things up. It gives you the control to. It gives you the reminder you're in control. You make a decision.
Right.
You could do anything you want on this planet. I could prove it.
So, being that you have done many great things on the planet, and will continue to do more great things,
Yay.
what in the greatest version of yourself, which probably changes for you probably every half an hour.
It keeps growing. Like guys, come on. Well, that's good.
But what do you see that as being? Like, what your gift? Like I said, your art, your being, your words, just everything that you leave is an expression of who you are. But in this, we could stick with this moment. In this moment, what is it that you think that you're seeing as your legacy of?
I never think about legacy. Here's the thing. For me, legacy is how you want the world to think about you. I do not care.
I know you don't care.
It's like my agenda is bigger than your opinion of me. My agenda includes opening a hospital in Haiti. It has nothing to do with anyone's agenda.
Right.
My agenda includes opening a school for kids with dyslexia like myself. I've never read a book in my life. I cannot hold the information. It doesn't work out. I've had to reteach myself how to learn. So from that position, I was like, okay, I'm going to learn through audiobooks.
Okay.
And I listened through a whole, but my audio works amazingly to where I've studied Mandarin, studied quantum physics, studied business, studied things that you told me I cannot do. So if I was concerned with the legacy of it, it's like, what's the other person think about me? I don't care. what I got to do is bigger than your opinion of me. Your opinion is great, good or bad. It doesn't come home with me.
Mm-hmm.
You could say great work, it doesn't change nothing about it. You could say horrible work, it doesn't change nothing about what I got to do. Your opinion matters not.
Okay.
Not yours, but I'm not being rude, but
Yeah, well, maybe for you, the word is not legacy. But with, like what you said, having a school in Haiti.
Yeah.
And
The hospital in Haiti.
hospital in Haiti and the education programs.
Yeah.
So that in itself will be something that will be achieved.
Yeah, it's done.
And what it will leave will be from you and your collaborators and the impact that'll have. So, okay, like you said, you don't read and you do the.
I've tried, but it's just.
Right, I get it.
It's like if you send me a long email.
Right. Yeah.
If I can't select it and listen to it, I'll try to read it.
Right.
Then ask me to return it to you.
Yeah. So even okay. So now that you're doing the audio,
I do a lot of audio
books. How has that impacted you as far as like say before?
Before I thought I was the dumbest person on this planet. Like my insecurities came out of the fact that I couldn't keep up with my brothers.
Right.
My brothers are brilliant. Like, my mother would give Patrick a comic book. Patrick read through it like that. She'd give me a comic book. I'm drawing the characters.
Right.
And it was just me knowing that I knew something was wrong. Like, listen, when you get taken out of class and they report, hey, such and such kids, everybody know you got special ed. And just this was the time when others' opinion mattered, right? You're a child. And when you're a child and your teacher goes, okay, I'm gonna need you to read X, Y, Z, it's just, your heart is pumping out of your chest. And then when you read and the teacher laughs at you, guess what that does to me? I'm broken. I'm done. Like I knew that it wasn't gonna be my lane, but I knew for a long moment, I just was like, yo, I can't keep up. Like now I know my brilliance. I know my work. You challenge me if you want, but in terms of those days, it was hard. Like I would see my brothers on the train and I would have a book out because it was just something that you keep. You don't want to tell no one you have. I remember coming home watching Sesame Street. I'm a grown man. Like I can't. Why can't I get this? Right? Who you gonna tell? But I remember being on the train and watching my brothers read, and I would have my book open, and all I would do was just turn the page when they turned the page, and then it was like, let me just listen to their conversation, so I learned how to maneuver amongst sharks. Because of that, if it wasn't for the fact that I had to do that, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing today.
Okay.
It worked out because I would put other people in my position that have read through things. Have a good time. Figure it out. I'm good at figuring it out.
That brings into play is just how faulted our system is because it's not that like the children that they don't listen. They get frustrated because it's not a learning atmosphere for them. And everyone learns in a different way.
And kids when your kids love to learn,
yeah.
it's just part of, it's like playing. But there's a point when, I remember first day when we were young, first day, and the teacher go, we're going to do an easy thing for you to figure out. Easy thing. And he's like, this is the easiest one, it's easy. And I didn't figure it out, and I knew the rest of the year is gonna get harder. I couldn't do the easy one.
But you could do the hard ones. No.
Here's the part. Here's the part that developed my manipulation. Just being honest about it. It was like, okay, I knew that teachers liked that I could draw, and I knew when I smiled, people liked me. So I was like, okay, I know that I'm not going to get an A or B in this class, but if I smile, I could get a C. That's all I need to do is get you to like me a little bit, and I'm in. So I carried that through. I was like, okay, that worked, and let me do that in high school. So I was like, let me put my talent out there, disguise what's not working, and just be like, hey, I'm Voodoo Faye. I was like, okay, wait, this is working, right? So it was just like, at some point though, someone's gonna pull the curtain back, and I was just like, you're fake. You got here. And like this is what I was telling myself. This is in the belief now, but before it was like, you don't like I if people like my background, I've designed for Averex, Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, DKNY. When you go to the Barclays Center, you look up at the uniform of Jason Kidd's retired number. I designed that uniform. Like I've done some really big things, and it had nothing to do with my education. It's the fact that I know how to get your no to a maybe, and your maybe to a yes, and just carry that. But then I was like, all right, are you gonna manipulate things the rest of your life, or are you gonna be that dude? Are you gonna put the work in? Are you gonna be something that your niece could say, yeah, that's my uncle? Are you gonna be someone that your team could be like, yeah, we rep with that dude? And goosebumps come up. It's like, are you gonna be someone your mother's gonna be like, that's my son? Because I've shown a lot of examples where I didn't earn that, but it was a thing of, I'm gonna get up. I always get up. If that's the challenge, I could beat it. I used to walk on broken legs before I had my knee replaced, and I had fractures all over the place, but I could get up and I'm gonna get there. What you gonna do? How you gonna stop me?
Mm-hmm. Now, we talked about that before. Now tell them why you said you're gonna have the pain regardless.
Yeah, the pain's gonna be there. Here's the thing, like, pain stops people. Pain's supposed to stop you. That's the nature of pain. Pain is supposed to tell you that something's happening in your body. You need to stop. You need to address it. I didn't have the opportunity to address it. I could stay home and be safe about it. I'm like, all right, this will go away soon. Or get up and get up over there. I broke my foot on stage. I walked down, snapped in half, broke the foot in half. I got back up, got on stage, finished my job. I know my job. You can't make that yours. I got it. I mean, like, what are you gonna do? What's any person on this planet gonna do to you when you make that decision? If you make the decision, I'm unbeatable, you'll be that. If you make the decision, I'm weak, you'll be that.
And you have definitely made that decision, because you started out, the way you started out was you knew how that you would smile. And that would get you a C.
I was like, okay.
And so at that point, you was caring about what teachers thought. And so when you made that transition to, like, now you're the total opposite, which really is the same thing, the opposites. And
the objective changed. Like, my objective was to pass. Like, I knew failing was a problem. I failed. There was one report card I came home with, and it was a problem. I was like, I think I failed every class. How do you do that?
Well, actually, if anyone with good sense looked at a report card from a child and they failed everything, I think that would be an indication that something that should tell. Really, I mean, we don't look at it like that, but like, how can somebody fail everything?
It went from those young days when your teacher just give you a star and you pass, but when it got to the point of when the teachers are like, look, there's A, B, C, D. You are not an A. I know that. You're not a B. I know that. You're not a C. Uh-oh. I was like, wait a minute. What's a 65? That's not bad, though, to me. For me, 65 was like an 80. Like, I could get 100 on an art test. And what's crazy, in high school, I used to get really good grades in creative writing. She didn't get caught up in, like, I would write things to where you'd have to turn the page and it would turn into a maze.
Wow.
I would write things in reverse to where you'd have to hold it to a mirror. And I remember that, I forgot her name. She was like, art might, this might, not so much writing. She wasn't so caught up in the glare. She was just like, there's something there with that. So it's just like the encouragement of that was great, but I knew that wasn't there. But I knew my creative nature was one that I can always lean on. That will never go anywhere. I've done over 7,000 pieces of artwork from music, art, fashion, graphic, whatever it is, 7,000 over. I did 65 songs in 65 days for my parents' wedding, which was in 1965, for no reason. And the last song was done on New Year's Day. Things just happen like that. I'm just supposed to go with it. Once I go with it, it's easy breezy. It's like breathing. Anytime it's something hard, it's asthma. I don't do asthma. You got a lot of pumps to take with that, so I do that. It's a problem.
Wow. It's interesting. So when you do, how long does it take you to do, like 60? Well, you said 65.
65
pieces
songs in
and
65 days. One song a day.
One song a day. And then what do you do after that? Go into
Go to
some
the
other
next thing.
space.
Yeah, whatever's the next.
Whatever's called.
Whatever I'm supposed, like
Right. Whatever you're supposed to do.
did 2 paintings
you do
yesterday
that.
for no reason. I just knew I was supposed to do them.
And what
Cool.
were they?
Mike Tyson and Elizabeth Shred painting. When I get back home, I'm probably going to work on some jewelry. There's some other graphics. I'm working on a project right now for DKNY and Tommy Hilfiger. That'll be done on Monday. If it's the creative lane, I got it. If you need me to balance your checkbook, it's like we made $1 gazillion. Like, yo, there's just a whole bunch of zeros here. It's like, but I know my lane. I know my lane. I know what I'm. I know what I could be excellent at. I know what I want to master. Like, that's for me.
So
And it's my judgment of mastery. It's not what people think is mastery. Like, no, I know what I want to do. I know. Like the biggest piece of artwork I'm gonna work on is gonna be, I want to get every face in my entire family, and it'll be a piece that'll have to be extended because there's other artists in my family who will be like, look, here's the last stroke I did. Here's the paintbrush to pass down to the young cats. Keep that joint going. So it's going to be about kind of like buying a huge place where we can just have this continued piece. That'll be something I want to, that's been in plan for about the last 6 years. So it's probably going to take 20 years just to get it to where it is, but it's worth it. Like, I don't know if I'll be alive in 20 years, to be honest. Like, I've like sitting here, I'm not the healthiest person in the world. I've had 10 surgeries. My lungs are the age of about 65-year-old man. I get pneumonia all the time.
wow.
There's some complications going through. So what?
We don't know. None of us know, so it means nothing.
It's like, I woke up today. Listen, I was given a chance to do something special today. That's how I wake up. You know what I mean? Like, tomorrow, there's going to be a tomorrow when that day doesn't happen. And we all are on that line. So I'm not going to wait on line poor. I'm not going to wait on line poor. Let me be clear with that. I am not the starving artist, and I think that's one of the dumbest mentalities I've ever heard in my life. Why not make money off of what you love to do? That's a whole different conversation. But also, it's not so much of being living poor, but I'm not gonna live scared. Like,
Let me ask you, okay, when you mentioned starving artists, yeah. And, I know some artists, and they do work, and then they don't want to let it go. You ever experienced that?
no. You could, if you want it, you buy it. But we put a pretty penny on it. But this is my business. It's not like I'm just whatever. No, it's a registered LLC. Tax. We got business accountants. I got a COO. I have management. I got the whole. This is a fact. This is a structure. We got our system in place. Like, I'm not here for the game of it. I deserve what I deserve. What I feel I deserve.
Right. I'm just saying, for artists that, like, they get real attached to their work, and it's like their baby. I don't want to.
If that's their thing, listen. If that's your thing, rock with it. If that's your lane, stay in it. Don't change because of someone else's opinion of it. That's again going back to, I'm right, you're wrong. Like, who are you to tell me I'm wrong? Or when someone wants to push their religion on you, and you've asked them for no information, you don't even know what I'm about. It's the same thing of if that artist feels that way, fine. It's just not my lane.
Right.
There's no way for me you're going to tell me about you know, you need to drop your prices so check it out.
No, I
If-
wasn't talking about, they just,
I've also known artists who won't leave. That's fine. For me, it's
you know,
here's my mentality. It's worthless in my house.
right. It was,
You want to pay $5,000 for a piece to put in your house? Look at the difference of worth and value. Now that $5,000 investment will turn into $20,000 investment in 10 years, especially on the projection that I'm on right now. I'm the art lane, the art world is noticing who I am. So investment wise, it makes sense. But I don't get a cut of that money when you reinvest it. When someone goes to a gallery and it gets sold for $100,000 after you sold it for $1,000, you don't get a cut of that. Then why are you selling $4,000? Raise your value up. What do you feel about yourself? What do you think you should be getting? Don't worry about other people. Oh, this is where we at. Why are you following them then? Or is your approval of others so important, of people in the art world who haven't done anything, and you want to do that thing? You won't win. You won't be in that class. I want to be part of that top class. In the design world, I am of that. I am one of the greatest Renaissance artists on this planet, and I know it. You won't pay me, or I got management people who will be like, he ain't showing up. You know what I mean? Like my cats, I don't negotiate certain things. Certain things are just like when we met, it was just like, okay, yeah. Other Zaire, Mazer, now like they were like, no, we're not doing it. So, until they give the go ahead, and everyone's in position to do what they got to do. Cleve, everyone's in position. Everybody know their job. What we're about to do, I guess it's different.
the game changer.
It's gonna challenge everything because we wanna just because we can. How's that? You know, it's just. I'm not gonna play safe. Safe is just. Here's the objective. How to earn $1 billion through art. How to become Walt Disney. I believe we can do that. We have a product that is Hello Kitty on steroids, but we're doing it through art. We understand our market base has 40 million people in our market base. We just need 2.5 of you to give us $40 a year for $100 million. Do that for you to get $1 billion valuation. Guess what you get to do with $1 billion? You get to open hospitals. Guess what you get to do? People pray for poor people. They will listen to you when you're rich. And I got lots to say. So take it or leave it. I'm coming.
You're here. You're okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
makes
lot.
sense. Hope that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Okay.
It makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
You know, and from your perspective, it's so different. Yeah, it's like listening to, I don't want to say the future, but a perspective that you haven't heard. You know, you know, you typical things you hear people, oh, I'm do this. This is important to me, but that's stuff that's been done before.
Right.
You know, the reasoning behind it.
Social is get along to get along. It's a rarity to shake things up. If the art world goes, okay,
So
that's what everyone's doing. You got to get in with that and get this, and we go, no, you know what? We're gonna develop a story, do artwork off of that, and switch this whole thing up. Everyone will go, hey, I need to do a story. Now you got something. It's not about me looking on me like, no, I'm just showing a new way to do it. Because you're only crazy when it's you by yourself. But you don't have to get the rest of the world to get you. You just need one other person to go, hey, that's a great idea. The rest of people fall in. So you just got to impress one person. One person. I can impress one person.
yes, you can.
You know?
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I'm sure everybody else is impressed too. So, I know, like Swiss Beats, he was talking about creating a new art avenue as far as like, you know.
No, commission.
Yeah.
I heard about it. I haven't looked deep into it, but love Swiss. I love his he understands business. The fact that this man took Harvard classes puts you in a whole different lane. I want to talk to you. It's not just about, and I respect it again, but I just feel art got bigger things to do. It's more than just something on your wall.
Yeah.
Like if again, if we could prove that certain colors make you feel good, why aren't we using them? You know what I mean? Like think about going to a hospital, or think about prison. For those who just the thought process. I guarantee the prison is never painted pink or light blue. It's a particular industrial color for a reason. Those who know color theory know color theory for a reason. Go to certain schools, they paint it like prisons. Ever thought about why? Keep the structure where you at. There's certain things that will be done and said that will challenge a lot of things that are out here. So what? The worst you could do to me is kill me. So what? I'm gonna die anyway. What are you gonna do with somebody like me? Who understands this one thing? There's and this is crazy to say, but it is what it is. There's a great equalizer, fire. You play with me, I burn yours down. It levels everyone down to where like, no, I'm crazy enough to do it. It's like, wait a minute. But it's not like I'm like but it's just the thing of like, look, I go in with the mentality of die trying. I'm not gonna leave it on my deathbed. I'm never gonna go. I guarantee you, I'm not gonna go on my deathbed going, damn, I wish I would have tried. I've tried everything, good and bad, good and bad. But I am having a hell of a life. Like the opportunities that's in front of us right now, the things we're doing right now as a company. I can't really get into detail, but when we get those things lined up, it'll put us in a really good position. And it'll be really important to be stable, which is something I haven't been. Like I know the other side. I'm a lot more stable these days. Sonya's been absolutely amazing. Help, like I wanted to hurt myself on it was July 4th. About 7, 8 years ago, and everyone's out of town, and I couldn't find anyone to return their phone call or what it was, and she just happened to be home, and I said, I'm not in a good place. She said, come over. Never left. In 8 years, we've had this many arguments. Like, what do you do with that? Like, like it's just magical, right? We're just two big kids, but it's a thing where her mentality is just like, okay, this is what's happening. And she has the patience to be like, okay, and walk through it when things are tilted off. And it's been a partnership. Like I got a partner. I don't got a girl. I got a partner. Like we walk through it. We gonna get it done. Like we do it. You can't break us. That's not gonna happen.
So is that like, okay, the term twin flames, or, people, they have soulmates.
Yeah.
But then that's not what people.
This is different.
Soulmates is still some challenges that that person.
We don't know what.
But being that you said 0.
We don't know why it's working like
well,
this.
that might
that's
we
don't challenge it. We know. All right. You know what? Me and her have differences. Like we're not into marriage. Like marriage is. You're gonna tell me this thing has a 50% chance of working? Why would I risk that for having no arguments? Why would I risk that? And marriage to me is not. It's just not thing. But what's great is that that's not important to her either. It's like there's things that we do paintings together. We are lined and linked up to where she's had questions in her head and I've answered them out loud.
Okay.
Like
Twin
it's like, all
flames.
right,
Sounds like to me.
what the hell's going on there? It's like, all right, but it works. It's like everything else in my life is odd, but it works.
Okay.
Like there's no wheels in your car, but I'm faster than you. How's that happen? That didn't make any sense.
No, it makes sense. I got you. I
Like
got you.
he's strange.
Yeah.
He's a weird boy.
So, tell me. So, you have all of these entities of Oh, so we have the work here. We have Obama, Michelle,
Sure.
and you have jewelry. You have the graphic arts. Everything you do with everyone else, plus the own vision of
The nuts and bolts.
everything that you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even ask like what would be the one. What's been your greatest challenge in becoming you?
Alcohol. Started drinking at 12. At its worst, I was drinking a gallon of rum a day. I would start drinking around 10:30. I knew that would be the reason I wouldn't succeed.
Okay.
Like,
so
hands down.
So that's where you started. That's been your greatest challenge. You know where you're going.
Right.
And you're going to get there. And I guess if we're around, we'll get to see.
Yeah. I'm
the
going to be
vision
right
that you
here.
create.
I'll be reporting it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much more time we have, but I know this is, like I said, you're a whole series.
Is that good or bad?
That's to have someone say you're a series, usually you do a show,
Get in, get out.
you can put everything pretty much in that time.
Okay.
With you, it's so many dimensions. It's just like your art. Well, that's another, it's so
Right.
many subjects,
Yeah.
that could go on and on.
Even with the, like, I noticed, if you notice the beer
Yeah.
caps, like, again, it goes back to the liquor. It's free. I use house paint. I use wood
Making use of things that,
that are from the area. Old beer caps, belts, speakers. If you throw it out, it's a diamond to me.
wow.
It's you throw it out if you want. I could flip it. I could, like I am literally. You're looking at
Piece
the
of art.
worst drug dealer you've ever met in your life. The worst, right? But you throw out some garbage, I could flip that to $1,000 like that, right? And I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I was like, you just gave me money for.
Well, I guess in bringing to the public people that everyone needs to know about. Usually I could do a pretty good job at that. I think, like I said, with you can get a sense of like a couple of things, but they would just have to follow you and watch and see what creatively is out there to really get it and just,
It's a
come
lot
out
of
of your
fun, yeah.
zone and open up and just live without fear. And, that'll be a part of a connection. You know what I'm saying?
I think
So
that could be really important for
I
people.
just want to thank you.
In these evil and troubled times, it's really hard to see the sunshine. It's even harder to smile when all you